Schedule a Zoom with me at GCExperts.com/Zoom.
There you are.
Got to turn you down a little bit. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Fantastic.
There's only one reason why I'm calling you.
Oh
Because
man,
on that video, you said, I just fished through stuff online to see if it's bullshit or not. And that's
say
why,
say that again.
in one of those videos, you were like, I just try to tell people that it's not, but this isn't bullshit. And that's the only reason that I'm here. And just a little background for you. Ty Miller, nice to meet you. I'm a contractor in Seattle. Been doing it for about 12 years. Just started doing steel buildings. So I'm doing stuff out of the ground now. And the intriguing part, I have some friends that work in government, and I know that the numbers are insane. I just never had the opportunity to do anything because I'm like a remodel contractor, right? So I do a lot of single family, multifamily kind of stuff. The thing that intrigued me, it's just weird that it popped up in my feed and I liked your video. So here we are. But there's a lot of government need for steel buildings, and I can do that now. So
They
here we,
do them all the time, everywhere.
right, right. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah. In fact, as far back as I can think, I think you're the only steel building guy. The only guy I can think of is Bob. But they got out of steel buildings when they started doing federal government construction. Because I remember having a
Here's my
conversation.
mascot. Say hi to George. George, can you say hi?
Hello, George.
Yeah. All right. I'll walk upstairs to my office here. But anyways, go ahead. I just wanted to introduce myself and tell you, I'm not sure about your program. I want to hear about what it is and what it entails. I do have some government contacts. I'm kind of backdoor some government stuff, but I was just
Okay.
curious about what you had to say and what's going on. So let her rip.
Okay, I'm gonna let her rip, but man, you ain't ever had a Zoom like this before. I assure you. You ready? Because I'm gonna really let it rip.
Well,
Uh,
Tom Brady told Robert Kraft he was the best decision he ever made, and that panned out. So I'll give you an opportunity to make that happen.
okay. How long? How long did it? Okay, how do I want to start this? When you were 10 years old, did you wake up one morning and say, "Oh my God, I can't wait to be a steel building and a single family, multifamily contractor someday"?
No, I probably wanted to be an NBA player or an astronaut or something.
That's right. Something different. Okay.
Yeah,
But at some point, real life hit you in the face. You were 16, 17, 18 years old, and you figured out that money buys shit and you wanted some of that shit. Right.
Roger.
And then at some point, somebody said, "Hey, if you do this extra work or you grab a tool or you do this, we'll give you some money." And you went, "Well, I can do that. And I want some of that money." And then at some point, you were learning how to make money in the construction business. How much time did you put in before you really started making any significant amount of money?
It's a great story. Um, I was in technology, and I worked for this guy who was a total fucking prick, and he was asking me to leverage my contacts to push sales down people's throats. And I told him, I sat in this very chair, and I said, my relationships that I've developed over the years are going to carry a lot longer than this job. So I'm not going to force feed people to buy shit. They're going to buy it when they're ready to buy it. And he looks at me and he goes, maybe you're not as good of a sales guy as I thought you were. And I said, well, you're clearly not as good of a manager as I thought you were going to be. And he
I
hung up
love
on
it.
me. He hung up on me. And in a minute, this was on a Friday. On a Monday, I had a call with HR with him. So I jumped on the call. They put me on a 30-day PIP. And I was friends with the HR guy. His name was Ty also. And he goes, hey, bro, you got 30 days. So you got 15 grand left. Go find a job. And the next day, a client that I have done some business with calls me and says, hey, can you help me? My owner is buying a building in Kirkland. I'm in the east side of Seattle, Bellevue, Kirkland area. And we're going to convert them from condos to apartments. And I need new countertops and new door fronts and new pulls. I said, yeah, I can do that. I've done that a bunch of times. Never done it in my life. Didn't have a business license, didn't have a business checking account, didn't have a tax ID, nothing. Went to my supplier for the cabinets that I've done business with. He said he'd sell to me direct. I sourced the little finger poles from Home Depot to a manufacturer in South Carolina. I bought a pallet of them on my credit card. Drop
Yep.
shipped them right to my front yard. I had a pallet of fucking door poles. My wife was like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." And I did 8 units, and the first check I got was 80 grand.
Yeah.
So I got that $80,000 check, and 2 days later I got fired, and I've been doing it ever since. So
Okay.
I mean, I'm a dumbass, but I'm not a total dumbass. You know what I mean?
All right. I got a question for you.
Go.
What are your 4 options when the federal government tries to award you a federal contract?
What are my 4 options? Well, accept it, probably. Um, I don't know. That's a great question.
It is
What
a
am I?
great, wonderful question. And here's the reason that I ask. If you go
Okay.
back into the text messages that were sent to you when you scheduled this Zoom,
Yeah.
the first one or the second one or the third one, or heaven's sake, maybe all of them, including one today, would have said, watch this Zoom or watch this video prior to your Zoom with Sean.
I watched it.
Okay. Then you should be able to answer the question, what are the 4 options?
I don't remember. Don't hold it against me, bro.
I'm not going to hold it against you, but I'm going to describe the job that I was talking about when I said that you had the 4 options.
Right.
If you can't answer that question, it tells me that you either didn't watch it or you didn't pay attention or you're doing something else. Or here's the thing. You're talking to a guy who did $1 billion worth of work for the United States federal government. Every type of construction that you can imagine, I have done. Over 35 years of federal contracts, over 1,000. And here's where I'll show you that I'm telling you the truth.
Okay.
If you go out and get some contract to supply these poles or whatever, and you get a check for $80,000, if you have a contract to do that and you go put it in your filing cabinet, can I or anybody else down the street walk into your office, open up your filing cabinet and go, holy shit, Ty, you got an $80,000 contract? I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, they could.
Okay, so you're telling me that a guy down the street is allowed to just walk into your home,
Oh
open
no,
up
he's
your.
not allowed to. I mean, I'm saying fictitiously, if he wanted to, he could. I guess. Sure.
You're telling me that anybody, I can line up 1,000 people down the street, let them all walk into your home and open up your filing cabinet.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if like they broke in or something, they could see it. I mean, I wouldn't let them.
You wouldn't let them.
Right.
That's the point. Because that contract is private, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, it's private.
Right.
But federal contracts, they're public information.
Correct.
Everybody in the entire world can go look up under the Freedom of Information Act and see how our federal government spends money.
Right.
It's public information. So do you think I would ever lie about any contract I ever got?
It wouldn't be a good idea. I mean, I could prove you wrong, I guess, if I knew
You
where to
could
look.
prove me wrong, and you could
Yeah.
you could fucking build a website. Sean, right? That shit would pick up on Google. He's a fraudster, and here's why. He said
Yep.
this, and here's what it actually is. I would never let that happen. Okay.
Right.
Now, the guys that I've taught this to, are their contracts private or public that they get with the federal government?
They're public.
That's right. I would never lie about any contract they've ever gotten. Okay. So just believe me that. Let me just ask you a question. If you had to replace a 3-ton air conditioner, how much would you expect to pay?
Oh, fuck. I'm doing one in a house. I'm doing one in a house right now that's 35 grand. So I mean, I can only imagine.
For a 3-ton air conditioner?
No. I'm doing one right now for a house that's 35 grand. So a 3-ton, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't even know how to get. I wouldn't even know. A lot.
Oh, okay. You're thinking a ton is 2,000 pounds, right?
Right.
Okay. In air conditioning, a ton of cooling is 12,000 BTU. By the way, you're in good company. We described a 200-ton chiller to a federal judge one time when we were suing the federal government over in the Armed Services Board of Contract Appeals, and he actually said in the we won the lawsuit, but he said in his opinion. A judge issues an opinion at the Armed Services Board of Contract Appeals. And in the opinion, he said the contractor, meaning us, had to move a 200-ton chiller. And he's thinking 200 times 2,000, you know.
Right.
But it's actually a ton of cooling is a unit of cooling. It's 12,000 BTUs. A 1-ton window unit air conditioner is small, right? But that you can have a 1-ton. Okay, so now a 3-ton air conditioner is the same type of air conditioner you have at your home or at your office. If you if you had to guess, now that I'm described that, how much it would cost to put a new one in, there's no wrong answers. I'm just asking you how much you think you would have to pay for that.
$100,000.
How much is your house?
Like the value?
Yeah.
$2 million.
And you think that 100,000 of that $2 million was for one of the air conditioners?
Oh, I'm guessing. I mean, like I told you, I have an estimate for I'm doing a house right now. It's a $500,000 reset, right? Doors, trims, floors, and my cost on this air conditioning. I'm trying to see how much the tonnage is. That it's 30,000.
Yeah, look
30,000 30,000 BTUs.
Okay, 30,000 BTUs is 1 3/4 ton.
Oh, okay.
Of coolant.
So 1 3/4. So you said 2,000. So yeah, I mean, my cost is 35. So I'm going to mark that up 10 grand. So, I mean, I said 100,000. I mean,
he's charging you $35,000 to put in basically a 2-ton air conditioner.
Yeah, with the new furnace. Yeah, bro.
Okay, I just want you to know that if you go down, have you ever heard of Granger?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can go buy a 2-ton air conditioner at Granger for $2,000-3,000.
Yeah. Actually, that's not true. My cost is 30,000. So that's labor, that's the install, that's the whole thing.
No, I understand that, but what I'm telling you is the components themselves, the material, the air conditioning unit itself, you can get for $2,000 or $3,000. I just tell you, I have these Zooms all the time, and I have this conversation all the time. The most common answer I get to that question is 7,000. Okay, installed.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Okay.
And really, the reason that I'm interested in going with them is I want a warranty. If anything fucks up, I can sue them because this guy is a real high dollar guy, and I don't want to deal with any problems or issues. Like it's just a line item. I get what you're saying. It's a lot of money, but
but just understand that I've been in construction for 35 years. I bought everything that you can imagine, done every type of work you can imagine. And if somebody came to me and said, "Yeah, we'll install that 2-ton air conditioning unit for $35,000," I'd go, "No, we're not doing that."
John, where do you live, John?
Austin, Texas.
Okay. The inflation of cost in Western Washington is probably one of the most expensive in the country, other than Los Angeles, San Francisco, or New York. And I mean, if I was going to build you a house in my neighborhood where I live, I mean, I'd be $1,000 a foot for builder grade shit. I mean, if you want to put travertine and you want to put $100,000 cabinet pack, and your wife wants the fucking TV that fucking pops up in the kitchen counter and shit. I mean, $950 to $1,050 a fucking foot is a going rate. I mean, I looked at a lot. I looked at a lot down the street. And I was just curious. Maybe I could squeeze 2 houses in it. I was talking to another buddy who's a developer, and he asked me if I had some interest. So it was less than a half an acre, and they wanted $3 million for it. So
Well,
So that,
I guess the question I would have before we even go further is why would you be even interested in the steel building stuff? Like, if you're getting $1,000 a square foot for building homes, down here, I want to say maybe 250, 300 at the most.
yeah. Well, the reason why is because if I do a single family housing project like that, I got to be there and I'm married to it. And, I have to usually be the loan holder and it's a ton of work. And if I don't sell it for the number that I want, then I mean, I took a bath on one that I did. I bought a place for 650. I had a $6,500 payment on it. I put like 50 grand, 45 grand of my own money. I put 80 grand down. Uh, and I had some guys do some work for me, which is about 30 grand. And I put it on the market for 900, 899, and I had a comp at like 915. So I was like, even if I sell it for 800, I'd still be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that fucking thing sat on the market for 9 months. And I sold it for 750. Uh, so there is value and it's incredibly inflated. And the rates are starting to tick down now. So it's going to be a little bit better of an opportunity. But the steel buildings thing to me is really appealing because there's commercial application, there's residential application. I sold concrete in
Right.
Senegal for 10 years. So I know concrete. I know mixed design. I know the structure and integrity of concrete. I know the physics of it. Like I get it. I know what a 3000 PSI mixed design is. I know what admixtures are. Like I know what concrete is. So
Okay.
if I sell you a 30 by 50 steel building, I know what the cost is on digging a footing and foundation. I know what the cost is on doing a stem wall and a foundation plan. I know what the cost for some recycled concrete or some 5/8 minus base course is going to be and to pour a slab. I need lag bolts sticking up and they have to be in the right spot. And then I can order a building for $10 a foot and I can erect it. I have a crew of guys that'll erect it for me. And for $60 a foot, I can make 40 points on it. And
Okay.
it's
And
four or five.
Ty, let's
It's
go a different direction with this conversation. Because look, I hope you have some time for this, and I hope you take this as constructive, not even criticism, just valuable. Okay. I'm almost certain, almost 100% certain that if I picked up my other cell phone here and had you Google some local HVAC guys up there and said, hey, I got a 1,500 square foot house and I want to put a brand new 2-ton air conditioner in it, that if we called 3 guys, I'd get 3 prices between $6,000 and $12,000. Okay. And maybe you could prove me wrong, but I just want you to imagine for a second that I've bought 150 2-ton air conditioners over the last 30 years, worked on them myself, went to the Carrier School, was certified in designing air conditioning systems. But the reason that I'm telling you this is because I was telling you about the proof, right? The Freedom of Information Act. You can look up contracts. The last 3-ton air conditioner I sold to the federal government, I sold for $107,000. Now, that might not mean a lot to you, but I'm just telling you when I'm talking to contractors across the country in these Zooms and I say that number, they all go, holy shit. Now, I understand to you that might go, holy crap, you may have underbid it. But I'm just telling you, when I called, that job was in Alaska. And I can actually show you the award document. I have it on my website. I can show you how to find it and look at it. But just imagine for a second that I'm telling you it's true.
yeah,
That job was in Alaska. When I called the local HVAC guy to go install the 3-ton air conditioning unit at the Jeff Soapy Museum. So this is a commercial application, not residential. I didn't care whether he charged me 7, 15, or even 30,000 to do the job because I'm in it at 107. but he charged me 15. There was some extra ductwork stuff that needed to be done, and it was in Alaska. It was kind of remote, but that's where he lived and operated his business. Okay, and so that's the kind of
I
margins.
undersold it. I undersold it a little bit on my project. Just for 1 second. I mean, it's a you walk in and it's a level up, and then you have a basement down, and they have to do a bunch of venting, and they have to do some new ducting upstairs, and they're going to put a unit up in the attic. So it is expensive. So I'm agreeing with you. It's fucking ridiculous. But I mean,
Now,
and the thing out of Alaska, so I managed a three-state territory for a shipping company out of Seattle. And I ship stuff to Alaska and Hawaii. So I understand what freight is too. And I know how Cube works. And I mean, getting shit to Alaska is ridiculous. So familiar with that too. But no, I mean, yes, the reason that I want to talk to you is very simple is there are state and federal contracts for steel buildings all the time. And I'm aware of that. And I just want to know how to crack that nut because I mean the numbers that I'm privy to, I'm a partner with a company called General Steel. I don't know if you're familiar or heard of them. They're out of Denver. So I'm a distributor for them for Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. So I get a wholesale price on buy and I can sell it at retail. So I mean there's 25, 30 points right there. Uh, I have an install crew. I have a concrete crew that travels. So I mean I can basically turnkey a solution today.
okay,
And
we're gonna go a different way with this conversation because I always tell people when you have a conversation with me, you only have to make two decisions. Number one, you have to decide if I'm full of shit or not. If you
I don't,
decide I'm full of shit, there's no reason to go to number two.
yeah,
Number two is personalities are different. Okay. I'm not a coddler. I'm not, it's okay, Ty. You'll get the next one. All right. I'm not that guy. And you're never going to hear in any conversation. You can watch, I think I've got 300 videos on YouTube. You will never hear me say, so if you buy now or if you get in by the end of January, buy my shit. Here's these Zoom calls, they're not designed to sell you anything. Okay. They're just a conversation between two contractors. And I'm finding a little bit of conflict here in this conversation because, people get to see me in these videos and decide if I'm the kind of guy they want to have a Zoom call with. But this Zoom is my first time to meet you and decide if this is the kind of guy I want to work with. When you've done $1 billion worth of work, made $350 million over your career, you get to make these kinds of decisions. But are
sure,
you in front of a computer?
I am.
I want you to pull up Google, and I want you to Google something. Let me
But
know when you're okay. FAR, FAR, 13.004. Now, don't click on it. I just want you to tell me the first result.
acquisition.gov 13.004 legal effects of quotations.
Stop right there. Legal effect of a quotation. Now, let me ask you a question. If you go out tomorrow and you give 1,000 quotes, is there anything legal associated with them, or are they just quotes?
They're just quotes. They didn't. There's no
That's
legally,
that.
but there's nothing legally binding with a quote.
That's right. But when you Google a quote for the federal government, the first word it says is legal, implying that there's something legal associated with a quotation for the federal government, and that's different from your world. Yes or no?
100%.
Now I
I didn't.
want you to. Now
I
I
didn't even
want
know.
you to.
Didn't even know that was a thing. To be honest with you, that's crazy.
That's why we're going to have this conversation. By the way, this conversation that we're about to have was in that video, and I know for a fucking fact you did not watch my video that my team sent you. Okay, but I want you to click that link, and we're going to go through it. Normally, I fucking hang up on people that don't take the time to invest in learning this shit before they get in a call with me. But I'm having fun.
Thanks for letting me slide.
Okay, so you click the link. I want you to read the first sentence of that paragraph and stop at the period out loud.
Quotation is not an offer and consequently cannot be accepted by the government to form a binding contract.
Okay, stop right there. A quote is not an offer and consequently cannot be turned into a contract. That means
Correct.
if you give a quote to the government, they cannot turn it into a contract. Now, let's talk about your world. If you give a quote to somebody and it's signed and they sign it, what do you now have in your world?
Yeah, I have a contract.
That's right. Okay. But in the federal world, you can give them a quote, even if it's signed and it says right there, the first sentence, they cannot turn it into a contract. And that's different than your world, right?
Yep. 100%.
Okay. Now I want you to read the second sentence out loud and stop at the period.
Therefore, issuance by government of an order in response to a supplier's quotation does not establish a contract.
Okay. That's kind of legalese. It probably doesn't make sense to you, but let's break it down. What the federal government is concerned about is that, look, there's 10,000 procurement officials in the federal government, and they're worried that not every single one of them understands sentence number 1. And so what they're saying there in sentence number 2 is, if the federal government takes your quote and turns it into a contract, don't worry about it. It's still not a contract.
Huh?
Now that I've explained that to you, do you agree that's what sentence number 2 means?
I mean, that's how I read it. It does not establish a contract.
That's right. Do you understand that what their concern is that sentence number 1 says they can't turn your quote into a contract. Sentence number 2 is saying, if they do take your quote and turn it into a contract, don't worry about it. It's still not a contract.
Still not a contract. Yes. Right. Roger.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want you to read the rest of the paragraph to the end.
The order is an offer by the government to the supplier to buy certain supplies or services upon specified terms and conditions. A contract is established when the supplier accepts the offer.
Okay,
So,
who's the supplier?
I am.
Okay, so when is a contract established?
When I accept an offer.
Okay, what the fuck does that mean?
That's a great fucking question.
I'm going to explain it to you. How this happens in real life. What would be your dream number if I said the federal government wants to buy a 200 square foot steel building?
Geez. I mean, how much of a shitbag can I be?
It's just you and me talking here.
I mean, if I was $150 a foot, that'd be plenty.
Okay, what's that come out to? What's 200 times 150? 200 times 200 is 400,000. So what, 350
yeah,
grand?
350. Yeah.
Okay, $350,000. So let's say you come across a solicitation.
Okay.
That's what the government puts out to the public, a solicitation. And it's 200 square foot steel building. And let's say it's in Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
Now you're in Washington. This job's in Macon, Georgia. Okay. But you turn in a quote for $350,000. Okay. The government, can they take that quote and turn it into a contract?
No.
No. How it sounds in real life is you turn that bid in for 350 grand, or let's just say in this case, me, because I'm registered and you're not. Okay. And then the government gets that quote and they have to contact me.
And make an offer.
They have to say, hey, we got your quote for $350,000. Would you please do this job for what you said you would, the $350,000? They have to offer it back to me. When they do that, I have 4 options. Those are the 4 options I was asking you about in the beginning of this conversation that told me, bro, you ain't seen this shit, because there is no contractor in the world that would ever hear what I'm about to tell you and forget it. You would never forget this. Okay. When they offer it back to me, I have 4 options. Number 1, I can accept. Fuck yeah, we'll take the deal. Send the contract over. Okay. Number 2, you can withdraw. I'm sorry, we're too busy. You're going to have to go on to the next guy. Number 3, you can negotiate. Hey, I know I turned that in for $350. We're going to need $400. And number 4, you can stall for more time. I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting your call. Can I call you back in 24 to 48 hours? Get them off the phone. Now, when they contact me in my career, I always choose number 4 first. Hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting your call. Can I call you back in 24 to 48 hours? Now, I'm calling the Ty of Macon, Georgia. Not you, because you're in Washington. I'm calling the guy that does steel buildings in Macon, Georgia. And I'm saying, hey, my name's Sean. I'm a national federal contractor. I do everything from wind tunnels, water treatment plants to kitchen renovations. I'm calling you today because the federal government wants to build this little 200 square foot steel building. And what I'd like to do is send you over the plans and specs. And when you get them, pick up the phone and call me. I'm already familiar with the job and I'll walk you through it step by step so you don't have to do any extra work. So then he calls me, I walk him through the job, and I say, hey, Ty, based on what we just saw, you don't have to give me a quote. You don't have to put anything in writing. I'm just asking your opinion off the cuff. Give me a price for this 200 square foot steel building that if I called you up 90 days from today and said, hey, man, we got the job, that we'd be close enough to negotiate something that makes sense for both of us. So, Ty, you're not in Washington. You're in Macon, Georgia. How much for the 200 square foot steel building?
$80 a foot.
Okay. So
Like
160. Okay. So this guy's just told me 160,000. My bid's 350,000. So I go, hey, Ty, I'll be calling you back.
Yeah.
I just got to go check some things with the federal government. And if everything works out, you'll be getting a contract for that 160,000. I get off the phone with him. What's my next phone call?
You're calling the government back saying, I'm ready to talk. And you negotiate that term and they lock you in and you have
Not
a guy
even negotiate. I want to accept.
Right. But then you call the guy back and say, send me a contract. And he does it. And you're whacking 50 points, fucking doing nothing.
That's right. And then I'm moving on to the next deal. Now, give me another scenario. Hey, Ty, how much to build the 200 square foot steel building?
Like, give me the scenario. Where? Here or what? In Macon, Georgia?
No, you told me $80. Look, don't stop speaking in price per square foot. Give me another price. How much to build the 200 square foot steel building?
$100 a foot.
Stop. Dude, stop saying $100 per square foot. Tell me a price.
250.
250,000. Okay.
Yeah.
He told me 250. I'm in it at 350, but he doesn't know that. My next phone call is I accept. Give me another scenario.
100 grand.
Same thing. I'm in it at 350. I call the government and I accept. Give me another scenario. You're missing the other scenarios. What happens if he says 500,000?
I call somebody else.
Okay. Now we're not talking a 200 square foot steel building. We're talking a 10,000 square foot steel building. Okay. Look, the other scenario is he could say more than what I'm in it for.
100%. You'd be busted.
Okay.
It wouldn't work. I got it.
So now what do I do with the federal government?
Negotiate.
If I'm close, but what if the price is way too much over what I bid it for?
Withdraw.
I can withdraw.
Yeah.
So here's the question. If I can withdraw every bid I ever turned in, what is my risk for turning in a bid?
0. Nothing.
0.
Yeah.
So how much time do you think I put I spend putting my pricing together before I turn my bids in?
Hopefully not a lot.
Almost nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand that because of that federal acquisition regulation, there is no risk for turning in a bid on the federal? Look, in your world, every time you turn in a bid, you're at the risk that they might sign it and you might lose money. Just like your fucking deal on the house you were talking about for that you
Yeah.
only got 750 for. Okay.
Yeah, no, I totally get everything you're saying. I mean, if there's no risk and you can just throw numbers at shit and you can cover your ass. I mean, if the number, like I said, my cost on the steel is like $10 a foot. My cost on finishing the concrete, material included, is like $13 a foot. So
Ty,
I can,
with
I
what
can,
I just explained to you,
yeah.
are you going to focus on steel buildings or are you going to bid every type of fucking work they put out? What is your risk for turning in a bid?
Well, there's some liability there. I mean,
What liability? Okay, explain to me the liability.
well, if I jump on here and bid something that I'm not really familiar with, I mean,
Okay,
I
let's
guess,
say a roofing job. Okay,
okay.
you bid a roofing job. You
Well,
bid it for,
I get
roofing.
it. I know
Okay,
roofing.
okay, then let's pick something you don't know. A ground source heat pump. Have you ever heard those words before?
No, or I mean, just I guess what I'm saying, I'd like to have some familiarity with what I'm doing. I mean, I
What?
guess if you want to
Because
blanket bid, if you want to
no.
blanket bid shit across the board and just have a sub
What
do it,
is what is your risk for turning in the bid?
no, I get it. Zero. I understand.
Does it matter if you're bidding a ground source heat pump or a steel building if your risk is zero?
I guess you're right. I see logic. I get it.
Okay, so Ty, let's do another scenario. You turn in a bid for a job on a ground source heat pump.
Okay.
Okay, you have no idea what it is, but you turn it in for $100,000.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
and the job is in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Government calls you up. Hey, Ty, we got your bid for the ground source heat pump. What do you say?
Let me call you back.
I'm
Let me call you
sorry.
back. Oh,
I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting your call. Can I call you back in 24 to 48 hours?
yeah.
Look, they're scripts for a reason. Okay.
I understand. I understand.
Get off the phone with them. Then you call, you go on Google. Look, Google it right now. Ground source heat pump, Oklahoma City.
Can't believe it's this easy. Fucking crazy.
Motherfucker, there was a whole video you could have watched and known this shit, and we'd have had a much more fun conversation because you had already been through this process. That's why you said slap me. I was like, yeah, you're going to get slapped.
Good thing I like you.
Well, I don't mean it with malice, and I think you figured that out.
Yeah. Jane's Radiant Geothermal Heat. Contact us.
No
So
shit. If you call
so
that guy, some guy named David is going to answer the phone, and you're going to say,
Sure.
hey, David, my name's Ty. I'm a national federal contractor. I do everything from wind tunnels, water treatment plants to kitchen renovations. I'm calling you today about this ground source heat pump job. I'd like to send you over the plans and specifications. When you get them, you don't even have to look at it. Just pick up the phone and call me. I'll walk you through the job step by step. Then
So
he
let's
looks
let's
at
let's let's reverse this. Is there a database of people like you and like me? So when somebody wants to do a fucking steel building in Seattle, they'd call me. So this is flipped, or are we just relying on Google for that? Does that exist, or
it does exist, but there's no money in that.
right? Because people are just calling me going, I want a quote or something.
Because look, do you want one home run in your life where you make $100,000 in one phone call, or do you want 1,000 jobs like that where you make 50 grand profit?
Okay, you got
I'm
me, dude.
asking you.
No, no, I got. Hey, I do a ton of hunting and pecking, man. I do a ton of quoting. It's it's a gigantic waste of my time. I have a guy calling, making calls for me, like, and the close ratio fucking sucks.
Well, I
I
always
get it.
say nobody would ever get on the phone with me if their life was fucking perfect. That would
No,
never happen.
I get it. So
Okay.
so what's the next step here? What's the how do we get this rolling? Like what's the
The next step is you got to watch that fucking video.
okay?
I seriously, I won't go a next step with somebody unless they watch that entire video. It's an hour long. If you're not willing to invest an hour of your time in learning something, dude, you're never going to be successful in my program. It ain't ever going to happen. I'm never going to let you into my program.
Okay. Well, then I'll
That's
watch
why I
the video.
say I'm never trying to sell anybody anything. All I'm trying to do right now is just educate you.
You've rang my bell, dude. I I I mean here's the reality, man. All the things that you're explaining right now are things that I do right now. And I I totally understand. Like it's totally tracking. Um, I'll be happy to watch the video. I'd love to talk to you some more. I'd love an opportunity. I'm a normal human. I have a great product that I sell. I understand the process, but I mean this is just skipping a whole bunch of steps that I mean
Yeah, you're going to throw, if you dive in with me on this stuff, you're going to throw all that shit away. It's going to be completely meaningless. Some people call me and they say, I want more work so I can keep my guys busy. And I go, fuck your guy. You're talking to the wrong guy. I don't care about my guys. Okay. I can make more money for my time. Okay. Look, my time is the most valuable thing that I have. I have less time left than you do. You're younger than me. Okay. And so for my entire career, I was always trying to get things done in half the time. What if I pay you more money? Can we get more guys to get this thing done faster? Because I'm willing to take less amount of money so that I can move on to the next one, get that thing done, get my look, this training that you're looking at here is 28 hours of training. Okay. You can't teach somebody to do this shit in 3 hours. You can't teach somebody to do this shit in 15 minutes on a Zoom.
you did a pretty good job in 46 minutes. I mean, so here's the other thing that I totally understand. I don't have any employees. The most employees I had was 5, and it's a fucking pain in the ass. And
Well,
I'm
we
sure,
had 6. We did 20 to 40 million dollars a year in federal contracts with 6 people.
right? I mean, and the problem that I have is, especially here in Washington, like minimum wage here is like $20, $22. It's a lot. And if I get a good Mexican that'll work with me that knows their shit, I mean, he wants $50 an hour. And if you hire his friends, they want $40 an hour. And then it's that never ending domino, which it's like you got to chase the work to keep them busy. And if you don't have enough work, then you got to let them go home early or take Friday off. And then you're chasing work to start Monday. And if it doesn't start till Tuesday, then you're paying them on Monday. And like, I've been down that road. I get it. I mean,
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
it's a nightmare. I sub all my shit. So like, as excited as I am for the opportunities of steel buildings, I mean, for example, you'll appreciate this. I have a partnership with General Steel, and I think that they're a good partner. And I've chopped their price a little bit, and I can get a better deal a little bit maybe somewhere. But I was asked to bid this project, and my one of my counterparts that I went to college with, he said, call this guy with this different steel outfit, and they're in Medford, Oregon. And I talked to him, and he goes, "Can I be frank?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he's like, I'm a fabricator supplier. I can do the concrete for you. I can do the dirt work for you." So essentially, he wants to come in as a sub to me and supply the material, install it, do the whole fucking thing. And he told me just like this. He goes, "This is going to sound weird, but I'm just going to tell you." I'm like, "Go ahead." He goes, "If I'm already making 30 or 40 points in the steel, I can give you the concrete away. I don't give a fuck. I'm already making money." And I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." So even if he's close to the same price in steel, I mean, I have a 120 by 300-foot building. It's a gigantic building. It's a $5
Yeah,
million
but you
project.
understand that he can have that private conversation with 50 other guys, and now you're out there doing the sales for keeping his machine moving.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. I mean,
Look, hold on. People are a product of their experiences. Okay. When you talk to somebody in South Alabama, they sound like they're somebody from South Alabama. When you speak to somebody that was born and raised in New York City, they sound like that. Boston, same thing. Okay. We are all a product of our environments, and we're a product of our experiences. Okay. The only reason that you're so excited about this steel building stuff is because you found another way to make money. Just opportunities. This conversation is just an opportunity. That's all it is. Okay. Look, my dad, I worked with my dad for 30 years. And one day when I was like 23 years old, I was all pissed off that I wasn't making enough money, as kids will say to their boss. But in my case, it was my dad. And he looked at me and he said, son, if you knew how to be I think I was making 50 grand at the time a year, which was good money in the early 90s. But he said, if you knew how to make $100,000 a year, you'd be making $100,000 a year. That stuck with me my whole life. You know, you said you're living in a $2 million house. How come you're not living in a $5 million house? And the answer is because you don't know how to make the money to live in a $5 million house. Because if you did, you'd live in a $5 million house. Okay. And what I mean by this is that, look, you reached out to me because you recognize there's some things that you don't know. And maybe this guy knows some shit that I don't know. And look, I'll openly admit, you know more about steel buildings and residential home building and all that shit and dealing with Paco and his $50 an hour and all that I don't know because I don't care. I don't give two shits about any of that stuff. What I want to do is make a great deal with the federal government, who's going to pay me in 14 days in accordance with the Federal Prompt Payment Act. You can Google that. It says the contractor shall be paid monthly or more often as deemed necessary by the contracting officer on a percentage complete basis. So if you're 50% complete with the job, you get paid 50% of the money in 14 days. There's no better customer. The largest companies in the world have the United States federal government as a client. Okay, now let's play. Oh, this is a fun game. You don't get this in the video that I'm asking you to watch. Have you ever heard of a SAM registration?
No.
That's your registration with the government. You just fill out some paperwork, tell them who you are, what your bank account number is, so that if you get a federal contract, they can pay you. It's called a SAM registration. You and I are going to play a game. I'm going to give you the answer to the question before I ask you the question. Are you ready for the answer?
Yes, sir.
The answer is SAM registration. Ready to play? Are you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
There is one thing and one thing only required to be a federal contractor, and that is a
SAM registration.
So if you sell cake mix to the Navy so they can make cakes on ships, what do you need?
SAM registration.
If you sell bullets or aircraft parts or even construction goods and services, what do you need?
SAM registration.
Now we're going to play the other part of the game. If you and I walk through a neighborhood and I point up to the top of the power pole and say, that's a transformer, would you recognize that as transformer? I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician in the state of Washington. Now, that had nothing to do with the company that got the job. It just means that the transformer has to be replaced. You'd have to hire that guy. Okay. Scenario number 2. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician. Well, now under that scenario, any licensed electrician from any state can go into Washington and replace that transformer. Understand that this is federal eminent domain property. There is no such thing as a state inspector going on to a federal job.
Okay.
Scenario number 3, the transformer shall be replaced. That literally means that you and I can go out there on a Saturday and replace the transformer. And it gets
100%.
written all 3 ways all the time. You just have to read the requirements and comply with them. But it has nothing to do with the guy that got the job, the company that got the job. All they needed was a SAM registration. And that's how I can tell you that I've done $1 billion worth of revenue with the federal government. I have never had a license of any kind other than a driver's license.
That's incredible.
Yeah. That's how you can operate in all 50 states. Well, technically all around the world, but look, the federal government's got 1 million buildings here in the United States.
Well, my one question I wanted to ask you is, how the fuck do you get away with operating in other states? And like in your video, you have the guys in California and they're in San Francisco and they're working on that, whatever the fuck they're working on. And one was from Texas and one was from somewhere else. And I mean, I worry about that too. Like if I go to Idaho or I go to Oregon and I do work, like I gotta apply for like contractor's permit. I gotta do all kinds of shit. In this
No,
case, you just make a call and it's fucking, oh my God. It's literally like you're hitting my head like you're hitting me over the head with a bat. Fuck, it's so frustrating. My God.
Look, you would never know because in your entire life, have you ever had a conversation with a guy like me?
No.
Because we're fucking rare.
It's so simple. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean, I got, look at this. That's bids that I've sent out for steel buildings. I got fucking 4 people that I'm talking to.
All
that are
that
serious.
tells me is that you're doing a bunch of work for free.
If I had a bell, I'd ring it. Spent a lot of time in this office bagging calls, man. Trying to get some shit across the finish line.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, I can solve all that, but I'm not going to do shit for you until you watch that video.
Okay. I'll watch it and I'll fucking call you back this afternoon.
I'll be around.
Do I need to do a SAM registration?
I can take care of everything for you. Watch the video. I explain it in great detail.
Okay. This is a Zoom line. Do I have contact info on that text? I mean, you didn't send me an email or anything.
Yeah, well, it did send you an email. It probably went to spam. Understand that when I started GCExperts, I told my entire team, I said, I only want to do 2 things for the rest of my life. Number 1, answer questions related to federal contracts. Number 2, solve people's problems related to federal contracts, because I've had every problem you could ever imagine, and I've come up with a brilliant solution. I said, I don't know marketing, videos, all that shit. I'll record my Zooms and I'll send them to you. And if you want to post them, you can decide to post them. If not, I don't give a shit. Okay. But I only want to do 2 things for the rest of my life. So they start sending out all these emails. And now my domain name, I had no idea that it goes to spam and shit like that. I can't control that. So anyway, I'm sure you got some emails. I'm sure they're in your spam.
I don't see anything here. It would have been from you.
It would have been from info@GCExperts.us. And I 100% guarantee you it was sent because some people get email and some people get text. And so it sends it to both. But that's okay. We'll figure all that shit out. My email address is Sean, SEAN, @GCExperts.com. And if you send me an email, I'll reply to you. But also
Sean at GCExperts.com. Is that right?
That's my email address. Yeah.
SEAN.
SEAN @GCExperts sam.gov.com. I've had that email for over 15 years. But anyway, but you can also just text back on that line that sent you the link to
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
Zoom.
Okay.
They forward those to me.
Okay. Perfect. I will. I'll save
And
that too, just so I have it.
all you gotta do is say, I watched it and I'm ready to talk.
Okay. I have a call after this, and then I have a
Bro,
meeting with my.
Ty, I don't care if you watch it today, next year, or 5 years from now. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Okay. There is no time. There's no hurry. The federal government has been here for 200 years. It'll be here for 200 more. Okay. They're
Well,
spending $1 billion a day every single business day. And I've been teaching this shit for 15 years, and I'll probably be here another 10.
well, here's what I'm going to tell you. I have a call, and then I have a meeting with my wrought iron guy, and then I'm my door guys meet me at that house, and I'm going to watch that thing, and I'm going to ping you back this afternoon because I want to figure out what I need to do to work with you. And I really appreciate the time. I'm telling you, the only reason that I reached out to you is, like I said, is when you said people need to figure out if this is bullshit or not. Because I've had these calls, dude, and people call me and try and sell me all kinds of shit. And once you get a business loan or you do a certain piece of work and people get in touch with you, it's never ending. And this
That's
makes
right.
total.
And I absolutely refuse to fucking do that. You
Yeah.
will never get a phone call from me saying, buy my shit. Or now that you're not going to get a call from my team tomorrow saying, you talked to Sean. So here's fucking, I would never do that. I don't need it. I've got all the money I will ever need for the rest of my life. I would never do that.
Where are you located, John?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. That's right. Okay. You blew my face off, bro. This is an incredible call, and I did watch a little bit of the video, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it was an hour long. I fell asleep or I got tired or whatever, but I'm so blessed and thankful for the time. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
You bet. Take care.
All right, brother.
Bye bye.